My best friend's girlfriend and my girlfriend hate each other, and I just found out why. Turns out my girlfriend is cheating with my best friend. And now my life is collapsing. Secrets get darker fast. I've known Tyler since middle school. We played the same video games, worked our first terrible summer job stocking shelves at a grocery store, and even moved into apartments on the same side of Columbus after college. When I started dating Megan 2 years ago, I figured she'd eventually warm up to him. Instead, they acted like magnets flipped the wrong way, polite in public, tense the second I left the room. At first, I laughed it off. Megan's a paralegal, very organized, very plans her whole week in a color-coded app. Tyler's a mechanic who lives on energy drinks and bad decisions. Different worlds, right? Still, the hostility felt personal. She'd say, "I just don't trust him, Caleb." And Tyler would respond with, "Your girl's kind of controlling, man." I played referee, convinced it was just clashing personalities. Things got strange 3 months ago. Megan suddenly stopped inviting me to her apartment on Thursdays, claiming she had late meetings. Tyler, who used to beg me to come watch games, started canceling with vague excuses like, "The shop's crazy busy." One night, I joked, "You two coordinating schedules now." Megan snapped, "Not funny." Tyler just stared at his phone. Then there was the money issue. I'd lent Tyler $800 to fix his truck. He promised to pay me back after a big freelance job. Around the same time, Megan asked if I could cover her half of a weekend trip because payroll messed up. I did it because that's what you do for people you love, but my bank account started looking like a diet plan. My sister Jenna noticed first. At my birthday dinner, she whispered, "Why do they act like exes forced to sit at the same table?" I told her she was dramatic. She raised an eyebrow and said, "Or you're blind." I brushed it off, but the thought stuck like gum on a shoe. 2 weeks ago, Tyler accidentally left his Apple Watch in my car after we grabbed tacos. It kept buzzing with notifications from a contact saved as M. I'm not proud of it, but I glanced. The preview read, "He almost caught on tonight." My stomach dropped. I convinced myself it was about some surprise for me. Had to be, right? I tried talking to Megan that evening. "Are we okay?" I asked while she folded laundry. "Of course," she said too quickly. "You've just been distant." She sighed. "Work stress. Don't make everything about us." Tyler gave me a similar speech the next day at the garage. "Dude, you're overthinking," he said, wiping grease on a rag. "So nothing weird's going on?" He laughed. "Only weird thing is how paranoid you've gotten." I wanted to believe them. These were my people. The idea that they could hurt me felt impossible. Yesterday, I left work early because the internet at the office died. I decided to surprise Megan with takeout from the Thai place she loves. Her car was outside, lights on. I used the spare key she'd given me for emergencies. I even practiced a dumb line in the hallway. Dinner delivery for the prettiest paralegal in Ohio. I walked into my girlfriend's apartment trying to talk to her. I walked in on my best friend and my girlfriend in her bed. When they saw me, I walked away. I'm in my house typing this as I ignore their calls on my phone. My hands are still shaking. Part of me wants to answer just to hear how they'll twist it, but another part is scared of what else I don't know. Tyler owes me money. Megan has access to half my accounts, and now I'm replaying every late meeting and busy shift like clues in a crime show. I'm still sitting in the same chair where I ended the last post. Cold pizza on the counter, phone buzzing like an angry insect. Megan has called 11 times. Tyler 8. I haven't answered a single one. Every time the screen lights up, I feel that punch in my chest again. The image of them tangled in her gray sheets. The stupid framed picture of us smiling at Cedar Point on the nightstand beside them. I didn't sleep. I just kept replaying everything, trying to figure out how long I'd been the idiot in the room. Around 6 a.m., there was a knock at my door. I knew it was one of them before I even looked through the peephole. Tyler was standing there in the same hoodie he'd been wearing yesterday, hands shoved deep in his pockets like a kid waiting outside the principal's office. I didn't open it. "Caleb, please, man," he said through the wood. "Just let me explain." I leaned my forehead against the door and laughed, the kind of laugh that doesn't sound human. "Explain what, Tyler? The part where you slept with my girlfriend, or the part where you lied to my face for God knows how long?" Silence. Then, quieter. "It's not what it looked like." That line almost made me open the door just to scream at him. Instead, I told him to leave before I called the cops for trespassing. He stayed another minute. Then I heard his boots on the stairs and his truck coughing to life outside. An hour later, Megan showed up. She didn't knock politely like Tyler. She hammered on the door, crying so loud that my neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, peeked out across the hall. I cracked the door enough to tell Megan to stop making a scene. "Please, Caleb, I messed up," she said, mascara already streaking her cheeks. "I need to talk to you. You don't understand everything." I told her that talking wasn't happening today. She tried to push the door open with her shoulder, and I had to put my foot against it. "Did you love him?" I asked before I could stop myself. She froze. That pause said more than any speech. "It's complicated," she whispered. "Yeah? So is nuclear physics. Doesn't mean I want it in my living room." She started crying harder, saying she never meant to hurt me, that things just got out of control. I shut the door while she was mid-sentence. I could hear her slide down the wall outside and sit there for a while. Eventually, she left too. By noon, my phone had exploded with messages. Not just from them, from people I didn't even know were involved. Megan's friend Ashley texted, "Please hear her out. You don't know the pressure she's under." Tyler's cousin wrote, "Bro, he's messed up. Don't ruin his life over a mistake." It felt like the whole city had been briefed before I was. The only person I called was my sister Jenna. She came over with coffee and that look she gets when she's ready to fight a bear for me. We sat at my kitchen table while I told her everything. The Apple Watch message, the Thursdays, the money, walking into that apartment like some joke in a bad movie. Jenna listened without interrupting, then said, "This didn't start yesterday." "That's what I'm scared of," I admitted. She convinced me not to answer any more calls and to screenshot everything in case things got messy. Jenna works in HR and treats every crisis like a potential lawsuit. While we were talking, another message popped up from an unknown number. "You should check the shared cloud account before you decide anything." No name. Just that. My stomach twisted. Megan and I have a family iCloud plan because it was cheaper. I hadn't opened it in months. Jenna watched me log in on my laptop, her jaw tight. There were folders I didn't recognize. One labeled Receipts, T. Another called Trip Ideas. I opened the receipts first. Hotel bookings. Two of them. One from May in Cincinnati, another from July in Dayton. Both were paid with my credit card, the same card Megan was authorized to use for emergencies. "Caleb," Jenna said softly. The trip folder was worse. Screenshots of Airbnbs, restaurants, even a note Megan had typed. "Tell Caleb you're working late that weekend." I felt like the floor tilted. So it wasn't one night. It was months. Planned months. I texted Megan one sentence. "How long?" She replied instantly, "Please don't do this over text." I threw the phone onto the couch and paced the apartment like a lunatic. Jenna made me drink water and breathe. She kept saying, "We'll handle it piece by piece." That afternoon, I drove to the bank to remove Megan from my accounts. The teller looked uncomfortable when I explained why, but she helped me freeze the joint card and issue a new one. Apparently, there were several pending charges I didn't recognize: gas stations near Tyler's shop, a furniture store, even a payment for a storage unit. A storage unit. I drove straight there. Jenna insisted on coming. The clerk wouldn't let me access it without Megan present, but he confirmed it had been rented under both our names since April. "What the hell are they storing?" Jenna muttered as we left. On the drive home, Tyler called again. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Just talk to me for 5 minutes," he begged. I could hear traffic behind him, like he was pacing outside somewhere. "There's stuff you don't know. Megan's not telling you everything." "Oh, I'm aware," I said. "I saw the hotel receipts." He went quiet. "That wasn't supposed to happen," he finally said. "It started as us just talking about you. She said you were pulling away, that you didn't want to move in with her. I asked her to move in last Christmas," I snapped. Another pause. She told me the opposite. The idea that they'd been discussing me behind my back, rewriting my own relationship, made my skin crawl. "Why the storage unit?" I asked. He hesitated too long. "That's Megan's thing. I swear." Before I could push harder, he said he was outside my building and wanted to come up. I told him absolutely not. He started crying. Tyler, who I'd only seen cry once when his dad died. "Caleb, I messed up my whole life," he said. "But there's more going on. She's in trouble." "Trouble how?" "Financial stuff. I don't know the details. She said if I told you, she'd say I stole from you." My head felt like a radio stuck between stations. None of it made sense. I hung up. That evening, Megan emailed me a long message instead of texting. I'm not going to paste the whole thing, but the highlights were. She felt lonely. Tyler understood her. She never planned for feelings to develop, and she still loved me. Buried near the end was one line that stuck out. I've been trying to protect you from things you don't need to be involved in. Protect me from what? I went for a walk just to breathe. Columbus was doing its usual summer thing. Humid air that smells like hot pavement and food trucks. Couples were out laughing, totally unaware that my life had turned into a dumpster fire. I kept thinking how normal yesterday morning had been. I'd been worried about a presentation at work and whether my car needed new tires. Now I was investigating secret storage units like an amateur detective. When I got back to my apartment, there was an envelope taped to the door. No return address. Inside were printed screenshots of Megan's texts with someone saved as T. Redheart. The messages were brutal. He trusts me completely. Once the settlement hits, we can start fresh. Caleb won't check the statements. Settlement? I don't have any settlement coming. The only legal thing in my life is a parking ticket from last year. Jenna thinks whoever sent that envelope is trying to blow things up. Maybe Ashley, maybe one of Tyler's coworkers. I don't even care who anymore. I just want the truth. Late last night, Megan showed up again, calmer this time. I let her in because I needed answers more than I needed pride. She sat on the edge of my couch like a stranger at a bus stop. I know you hate me, she began. Try devastated, I said. She told me the affair started after she and Tyler ran into each other at a bar while I was visiting my mom. They talked about how stressed I'd been, how I worked late, how she felt second place to my job at the logistics company. According to her, it was emotional first, physical later. Why him? I asked. Of all people. She looked at her hands. He listened. I almost laughed again. Tyler listening would be a first. Then I asked about the money and the storage unit. That's when her face changed, like a curtain dropping. Some of that isn't what you think, she said carefully. My brother got mixed up with people he owes. I was helping him keep things safe. By using my credit card? I was going to pay it back, she insisted. The settlement. There's that word again. What settlement? She bit her lip and said she couldn't explain yet, that lawyers were involved. The more she talked, the more it sounded like a bad TV plot. I told her to leave. She asked if we could at least pause the breakup until we talked properly. Imagine asking for a rain check on betrayal. After she left, I called my boss and took a few days off. There's no way I can coordinate shipping routes while my personal life is on fire. This morning, I met Jenna for breakfast at the diner near my place. She brought a folder like we were planning a war. We listed everything we knew: hotel dates, charges, the mystery settlement, Tyler's claim that Megan was in trouble. None of it connected neatly. While we were eating, my phone buzzed with a notification from the credit monitoring app one use. A new loan inquiry had been made in my name last week. I've never applied for a loan. Jenna grabbed the phone and went pale. Caleb, this is serious. So now I'm sitting here again, trying to decide whether to call the police, a lawyer, or both. Megan keeps saying she was protecting me. Tyler says he was manipulated. Everyone has a story except me, the guy whose life they were apparently rearranging like furniture. I don't know who sent the envelope or why a loan company thinks I want $30,000. I don't know what's in that storage unit or what settlement Megan keeps hinting at. All I know is the people I trusted most were building some secret world behind my back, and I only saw the doorway by accident. I'll update when I have real answers. Right now, everything feels like it's tightening around me, like the first hill of a roller coaster before the drop. I need to talk to a lawyer tomorrow and maybe confront Tyler face to face, though the idea makes me sick. I promise the final update soon. Final update. Everything finally came out, and none of it was what I imagined. I'm writing this a week after my last post, and my hands are steadier than they were then. A lot has happened, some of it ugly, some of it strangely relieving, and I promised I'd come back and tell you how it ended, so here goes. The morning after I saw that loan inquiry, Jenna marched me straight to a lawyer her company uses. His name's Mr. Patel, a calm guy with the kind of voice that makes you believe the building isn't on fire even when you can smell smoke. I laid everything out: the hotel receipts, the storage unit, Megan's emails, Tyler's calls, the envelope with the screenshots. He listened without interrupting and then said, Caleb, you need to treat this as potential identity fraud, not just a bad breakup. Hearing it said that plainly knocked the wind out of me. He helped me file a police report and freeze my credit. While we were in his office, another alert popped up. Someone had tried to open a credit card in my name 2 days earlier and been denied. Mr. Patel just raised his eyebrows and said, good timing. That afternoon, I finally agreed to meet Tyler in public. I picked the diner near my apartment, in the middle of the day, with plenty of witnesses. Jenna sat 2 booths away, pretending to read on her phone. Tyler looked rough, eyes red, hands shaking around his coffee mug. "I'm not here to forgive you," I told him before he could start. "I'm here for the truth." He nodded like he expected that. "I'll tell you everything, I swear." According to Tyler, the whole thing started with Megan asking him for help moving some boxes for her brother Aaron back in April. Tyler said he thought it was just family stuff, but the boxes were sealed, heavy, and she was weirdly secretive about them. She said Aaron was going through a divorce and needed to hide valuables, Tyler explained. "I didn't ask questions. Then she started paying me for helping, cash at first. Then she used your card for gas and the storage place." "So you knew she was using my money?" I asked. He winced. "Not at first. When I figured it out, she said you'd agreed to help, that you didn't want to worry me." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. He admitted the affair began after those late-night moves. Long car rides, fast food at 2 a.m., Megan telling him how lonely she felt. Tyler said he convinced himself I didn't care about her anymore, that he was saving her from a relationship she'd outgrown. "I know how stupid that sounds now," he said, staring at the table. I asked about the settlement again. Tyler took a deep breath and said Aaron had been in some kind of lawsuit at his construction job. Injury claim, big payout expected. Megan told Tyler she was using my credit temporarily until the money came through. That was the story, he said. "I'm not sure any of it was real." Before we left, Tyler slid a key across the table, the spare to the storage unit. He said he'd kept a copy in case things went bad. I didn't know whether to thank him or punch him. 2 days later, with the police present, I finally saw what was inside that unit. It wasn't furniture or family heirlooms. It was electronics, brand new laptops, phones, boxes of expensive headphones, even a couple of drones. All with shipping labels ripped off. The officer whistled low. "This looks like stolen goods," he said. My stomach turned. Megan hadn't been protecting me. She'd been dragging me into something criminal. That evening, I called her and told her we needed to meet with lawyers present. She showed up with Aaron, a guy I'd only met twice at awkward holiday dinners. He wouldn't look me in the eye. Mr. Patel did most of the talking. He explained the evidence, the loan attempts, and the storage unit contents. Megan kept saying, "This isn't how it looks," which at this point should be printed on t-shirts. Finally, Aaron spoke. "Megan didn't start this," he muttered. "I did." He admitted he'd been buying stolen merchandise from a guy at his job and reselling it online. When things got bigger, he needed a clean name and credit to keep it going. Megan, terrified he'd get hurt by the people involved, agreed to help. She used my information because, in her words, "Caleb trusts me and he never checks anything." Hearing her say that out loud felt worse than walking into that bedroom. "So you decided to gamble my entire life?" I asked her. She started crying, saying she planned to fix everything once the settlement came. Turns out the lawsuit was real, but the payout wasn't guaranteed, and Aaron had already spent most of what he expected on debts. Tyler sat there looking like he wanted the floor to swallow him. The police took Aaron aside, and by the end of the meeting, he was in handcuffs. Possession of stolen property, fraud, the list kept growing. Megan wasn't arrested that day, but they made it clear she could be charged, too. After they left, Megan tried to talk to me alone. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said. "I was drowning and made terrible choices." "Choices," I repeated. Plural. She asked if there was any chance for us after the legal stuff. I told her I didn't even recognize the person sitting in front of me. She nodded like she already knew the answer. Tyler called later that night, apologizing again. He offered to testify about everything, to help me recover the money. I told him the best thing he could do was stay out of my life for a while. He said he understood and that he was checking himself into counseling. I don't know if that's true, but part of me hopes it is. The financial aftermath has been messy. The bank refunded some charges as fraud, but not all. Mr. Patel is helping me file civil claims against Aaron and possibly Megan. My credit is a wreck, but at least it's frozen instead of bleeding. Work has been surprisingly supportive. My manager let me switch to lighter duties for a bit, and a couple of coworkers even helped me change the locks at my apartment. Life keeps moving even when you feel stuck. Jenna has basically become my personal bodyguard and therapist. She comes over with groceries, makes sure I eat, and reminds me to breathe when the anxiety spikes. Last night she said, "You didn't cause this. You just trusted the wrong people." I'm trying to let that sink in. Megan moved out of her apartment. Apparently, she's staying with her mom while the investigation continues. She emailed once more asking if she could return some of my things she found at her place. I told her to leave them with Jenna. I'm not ready to see her face without feeling that punch in my chest. As for Tyler, he dropped off an envelope with a cashier's check for the $800 he owed me, plus extra for the gas and hotel charges he'd benefited from. No note inside, just the check. It felt like the first honest thing he'd done in months. The storage unit is now evidence, sealed by the police. Every time I drive past that part of town, I get a chill thinking how close I came to being blamed for all of it. People keep asking if I'm okay. The honest answer is some days yes, some days not even close. I miss the version of my life that felt safe and simple. I miss believing my best friend and my girlfriend were who I thought they were. But there's also this strange clarity now. I'm learning to check my own bank statements, to ask hard questions, to not ignore that gut feeling when something's off. Painful lessons, expensive ones, but lessons all the same. Last weekend, I went back to that diner alone, sat in the same booth where Tyler confessed, and ordered the same terrible pancakes. The waitress recognized me and said, "Rough week, honey?" I just nodded. She gave me extra syrup without charging. Small kindnesses feel huge lately. I don't know what's going to happen to Megan legally. Part of me hopes she gets help. Another part is still too angry to care. Aaron's lawyer is already talking plea deals. Tyler is cooperating with investigators, which might keep him out of serious trouble. Me? I'm taking it day by day. I changed all my passwords, opened a new account at a different bank, and started therapy like Jenna suggested. Turns out talking to a professional is better than screaming into my steering wheel. I wanted to thank everyone who commented and messaged. Strangers on the internet kept me from feeling completely crazy during the worst nights. Reading your stories about surviving betrayals helped more than you know. This will probably be my last post about it. I need to stop living inside the drama and start building something new. I'm looking for a smaller apartment, maybe closer to work, and thinking about getting a dog, something loyal that can't open credit cards in my name. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that the people you love can become strangers overnight, but you don't have to disappear with them. You get to decide what your next chapter looks like. So that's where things stand. Messy, unfinished, but finally out in the open. I'm not okay yet, but I'm getting there, one boring, normal day at a time.